Hey girl, I want to catch your wave. And welcome back to Finway Productions. Where today, I already posted a video today, but that was at like 2 in the morning. And so I decided that I would post again. We're reading another Sonic story because Sonic is a series that I actually know stuff about and like, considering I've been reading My Little Pony fanfictions. I was about to say for the past year, but I haven't posted in a year, but I've been doing them mostly exclusively. And while that is funny because I have no clue what's happening, I don't know who these characters are, I decided I would take a step back and I would start doing Sonic. I personally really like the Sonic franchise. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Let me just get to reading. It's a little bit longer of a story. It's not old. In fact, it was published November 12th. So, let's get into The Ultimate Lifeform Snuggles with His Rose, which is a story shipping Shadow and Amy. I don't have a problem with that. The fall air had a rather crisp chill to it, but that didn't bother. We're starting early, aren't we, boys? But that didn't bother Shadow the Hedgehog, who was resistant to extremes of hot and cold anyways. Considering what he had on his mind while visiting Emerald City, he couldn't afford to pay even the most minute of attention anyhow. To what? The weather? That was a very long way to say Shadow didn't care about the weather. Eventually, he reached the Damien Park neighborhood, a typical middle-class suburb in the South Terrace borough, which was not the only one of the less urban boroughs in the city, but also the largest. I don't know all these words. Like I know a good amount about Sonic, but what's South Terrace? I said Terrence, didn't I? Whatever. Let's not talk about all this. His destination was a 2-story country-style home, which he could tell apart from the other houses by the mailbox out front, which had a red rose painted on it. The only indication that anyone was inhabiting the place was the sole car in the driveway, a pink 1971 VW convertible. The only sign that anyone was inhabiting the house was a car outside. Yeah, okay. I'm not even going to comment on that one. Without hesitation, he walked up to the door and knocked on it, humming hell-bent for leather as he awaited somebody to answer. Shortly thereafter, someone did answer. Amy Rose. So Amy just opens the door for Shadow now? They're just best friends. I guess. I mean, Amy is kind of an idiot, so I guess this is this marked as alternate universe? Good afternoon, Shadow. How are you doing? Except for the fact that Rouge hasn't been around in a while, I'm mostly okay. And you? I'm fine. I'm happier because you came here. Come in. Does Amy have a thing for Shadow in this story? I think that much is obvious by the description. Alright. Or by the title. Whatever. Let's keep going. Shadow stepped inside, and Amy closed the door behind him. So, what's on your mind? Asked Amy. Shadow gulped. Well, I mentioned Rouge is out on a mission. Ordinarily, this doesn't bother me, but today I'm feeling sad and lonely. So, if it's all right with you, I'd like to snuggle with you. Amy clasped her hands together and smiled. Well, that's so sweet of you. Come on up to my room. Is that just something you do with people? Like, if one of my friends, who's a girl, showed up to my house and was like, hey, you want to snuggle? Well, I would be like, what? Why? I mean, no. I don't know, that's just kind of weird sounding. Like, is that something you do? Especially since, like I said, I didn't know Amy was best friends with Shadow. But okay, but whatever. Shadow nodded and followed Amy up to her room, which had pink wallpaper with red hearts. Okay, look. We get it. Amy likes pink. Is this really what her house would look like? Probably. Amy's a I don't like Amy. Random electronics, stuffed toys, posters of pop singers, romantic comedies, and Disney movies, plus posters with inspirational sayings. Live, laugh, love. After taking their footwear and socks off, their footwear? What? Why? What, just say socks. What the? They climbed onto her bed and lied down. A shadow wrapped his arms around Amy from behind and snuggled with her. He enjoyed holding her because she was warm and cuddly, and Rouge, if not in the same exact way. Okay, yeah, I read that weird. As for her, she liked having his chest fur brushing against her. Amy, thanks. I already feel better. Thank you. Thank you too, Shadow. I enjoy having your strong, manly arms around me. Pause. What's about to happen here? Actually, speaking of that, I remember when you first saw me and mistook me for Sonic. Yeah? I actually really appreciate the fact that you did that for me. What? Oh. Okay. I see what they're... Aw, thank you. I have to be honest, I could sense that you were feeling all sad and lonely, so I decided you could use some cheering up. Shadow smiled. I know. Amy's expression turned serious. How? You seem to forgot that I have hedgehog sense. I too have hedgehog sense. I read that wrong. Amy chuckled. Ha ha ha. Of course. I should have known. Shadow frowned. Well, while we're talking about this, I have to confess. Whenever I think about that moment, I cry. Shadow's a pussy. Amy's expression was serious again. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel upset. Don't me. I cry because thinking about that makes me feel really happy. Amy smiled. Hey, there's nothing wrong with crying because you're happy. If you're a pussy... I realize that, and although I hate crime because it makes me feel awful, I like thinking of you. Rouge or any other woman hugging me to comfort me. Oh, okay. I think there is a comma needed in there somewhere. Not to mention I enjoy drinking a warm glass of milk afterwards. Man, Shadow really is a pussy. And so you should. Everyone deserves a hug when they're feeling sad. Shadow smiled. Indeed. Has anyone mentioned how drop-dead cute you are? Wow, Shadow. Very nice. Amy giggled. Stop it. What? Are you too afraid of the truth, my sweet little rose? No, it's just, I like being complimented like that. Also, have I mentioned that you're the most handsome guy I've ever met? Which, if you mistook him for Sonic, doesn't that mean Sonic's also the handsomest guy you've ever met? Which is okay. I'm not a Son Amy shipper, guys. Don't come after me in the comments, man. Okay, I'm at 8 minutes. I need to kind of get going because this still has actually a pretty good way to go. No, but I got the feeling that you thought that way about me. Regardless, you have no idea how good that makes me feel about myself. Amy chuckled. That's how you're supposed to feel, Shadow. Amy, please call me Shaddy. That's awful. That's awful. Why would you ever want somebody to call you that? If my name was Shadow, no way I would want anyone to call me Shaddy. What the fuck? What is that? Aw, that's a cute nickname. Rouge came up with that. And at first I hated it, but in more recent times I've grown to appreciate it. I guess maybe you come to appreciate nicknames like that, but that one just seems... Rouge and I may not be great friends, but I'll have to thank her for coming up with that. You should. She tells me she's grown to like you quite a bit. Really? Why? From what I know, she admires how you can put a smile on anybody's face, no matter how bad things get. I mean, put a smile on my face. Amy giggled. Shaddy, if you keep saying nice things to me, I'm gonna kiss you. I wouldn't mind if you did so. Ever since I met you, I've had a crush on you. Because of my inner turmoil, I felt wrong about acting on. Amy gasped and blushed. What? Shadow frowned. Did I say something wrong? No, I never expected you to say that to me. Oh, Shady, I've had a crush on you, too. I mean, Sonic's a great guy and all, but he loves Sally, not you, Amy. But I feel like you're more loyal and caring towards me than him. You don't say, Amy. Says you're saying this about the guy who runs from you. And you still don't know for sure. Shadow smiled return. Well, Maria told me I gave others a chance to be happy. And if me being with you is making you happy, then I'll gladly remain by your side. Oh, Shaddy. Just then, both the Shadows and Amy's hedgehog sensed signaling. Oh, crud. My parents are back, said Amy. Listen, this has been really enjoyable. My parents would rather have me tell them before I have guests over. That's okay. I feel good enough now. Shadow let go of Amy, and while he was putting his socks and hover shoes back on, she grabbed a pen and notepad from the nightstand and wrote something on a piece of paper. If you ever need to talk, here's my number. Amy handed Shadow a piece of paper with her number on it. So, Shadow knows where Amy lives, but doesn't have her phone number. When they're good enough friends where he can show up at her house, ask to cuddle, she'd be okay with it, and didn't have her number? Okay. Thank you. May I see that pen and notepad? Sure. Amy had in Shadow the pen and notepad, which she used to write down his phone number for Amy. I decided to return the favor, said Shadow. Oh, thank you. Amy wrapped her arms around Shadow and kissed him. While it didn't last too long, it was long enough for the ultimate life form, who was already delighted in Amy's touch. As a matter of fact, it took all of his strength not to gasp loudly from such an affectionate gesture. Nevertheless, he put on his brightest smile for her. You're welcome, said Shadow. Have a wonderful day. You too. Shadow slipped out of Amy's window as quickly and carefully as possible to avoid alerting her parents, while Amy clasped her hands together and smiled, knowing that she had given love to somebody who had always clamored to be loved. Well, there you go. That's the ultimate life form, Snuggles with his rose. It's a more recent story. And it was also a very longer story. That was correct grammar. Yeah. I think next I'll do a Mario one, because I don't think I've read a Mario story yet. I will return to reading My Little Pony stories, because that's my roots, and they're pretty good, so. Well, I think I'll see you guys next time. Finway Productions out.